we've got to look at Nico Raskin this season. So you think 18 million? Yeah, he's worth more than that, right? There's no doubt he's worth more. In my opinion, he's worth at least 25, I would say. But then you've got to look at Nico Raskin this season. Has he been, consistent enough to warrant 25 million or more than that? I would say no. So I would say 18 million then is a fair deal in my eyes. And you also need to think that dip in form that he, in my opinion, that's what the result of him not getting captaincy and John Stewart getting it instead. That's purely my opinion. So you then need to think, what happens if he wants to go to Spurs and we tell him no? Is it going to turn into the next half of the season he's inconsistent again, or even worse? Because we know he's not afraid to speak his mind, Nico. We know that. Several people have told us that, like Neil McCann, Billy Dawes, etc. So if we don't let him go, then is he just going to kick his heels in and, stir up whatever in the camp? You don't know. And then is it going to become like another kind of Morelos situation where his contract runs down? If you look back at Morelos, at one point we could have got, I think it was between 12 and 15 million roughly, I can't remember exactly. And we end up just on his contract down. So that's one thing we really want to avoid. And the whole point of this takeover was to bring in this player trading model and sell them at their highest value, or highest market value at that time that we can. And by doing that in January, that's us sticking to something that we've asked for, in my opinion. So as much as I don't want to see him go, I think 18 million, take it. Provided I would like to see a good selling clause as well. But I think we should take it.
Brian, JD's saying that Nico's international performances has been what's kept his valuation from dropping. Do you go along with that? I think that's quite a fair shout.
It is a fair shout, yeah. I don't think his club form has been very good this season, to be quite honest. I think he finished the season very well last season. I think that's the performances from January to May probably got him into the Belgian squad because he was performing outstandingly in that Rangers midfield. He was doing really well. But this season, it just hasn't, he hasn't been the same for whatever reason. Don't know why. But I don't think you can't disagree with JD there. It's his international performances have kept his value up because he's been turning in, a couple of man and match performances for Belgium. He's always been in the first 11. So that's an absolute fair shout. And it's something Danny Roll's going to have to unlock now. He's going to have to try and unlock how he gets the best out of Raskin, because we need a full firing Raskin in our team. We can't be doing with him not playing or taking a huff or anything like that. We need to get the best out of Raskin while he's with us, regardless of contract situations.
Well, multiple man. Do you think Felwell watched Shea Adams miss sitter after sitter and thought, I could use the Raskin money to get him?
Don't say that. Just don't. No.
Honestly, that would not surprise. Genuinely would not surprise me. No. But Brian, on Alan's point about downing tools and stuff, I suppose if there is interest for Spurs, if they do want to play, if they do make a semi decent bid, i.e. between 15 and 20 million, I don't think Rangers A can knock that back, and B, what if Raskin goes, I want to go? If Raskin says I want to go and Rangers say no, you're staying here, then Raskin's got every right to go, right, well, I'll tell you what then, see when you try and sell me in the summer, because you will try and sell me in the summer, because I ain't signing a new contract, I'm just going to stay put.
This is the I've always said when players get to 2 years left on their contract, you've got to start deciding whether they're going to stay or whether they're going to go. Because 2 years left on a contract is still a chunky contract, and you can still get decent money for players. When you start getting into 18 months with their contract left, you're starting to get into the realms of the valuation dropping like a stone. And then because with 12 months to go, it's even worse. And then, as everybody knows, by the January, he can start speaking to teams. So this is like we've only got two more.
This is the final opportunity, Brian, to get decent money.
Yeah, we've got 2 windows left, to sell him. Because the summer one, the January one, this is the last, as you say, this is the last window that you can get really good money for him. Next summer, 12 months to go, if you had a good World Cup a year ago, you might get reasonable money, but January's the last one you can get really, really good money.
I don't
And I'm
even.
afraid,
This January.
yeah, this January, if this is the last one you can get serious money for him. But he's got to be careful as well, Nico Raskin. He's got to be careful in the sense that whatever team he joins, he's got to be playing fairly regularly because he's playing regularly at Rangers, and that's why he's getting in the Belgium squad. If he goes to a team and he doesn't get picked, or he maybe starts and then his form dips off, or for whatever reason he doesn't get picked, suddenly he's not playing in the first team for whoever he's joined. All of a sudden his World Cup's under threat. So he's got to be very careful if he moves in January that where he's going, he's actually going to play every week. Because nobody can guarantee anybody plays every week, but you would like to think that a Belgium international is going to be part of a starting 11 fairly regularly.
I don't think with Alan Nico Raskin's mentality, I don't think that even comes into his thinking. To be honest, I think Nico thinks to himself, if I go to Spurs, I'm good enough to start in that midfield.
100%. I think Nico, you could call it arrogance, you could call it ambition, or ego, you could call it whatever.
Confidence.
But I think Nico Raskin, confidence, definitely. I think Nico will want and demand to play every game, start every game. And he has got the talent, to be fair. He can back it up. So we'll just need to wait and see. But obviously, 18 million, I think we'd have to turn that down. If we turn that down, we're just repeating mistakes of the past.
It's a worry for Rangers for the rest of the season. Defence hasn't been spectacular. There's been a lot of chat about John Souttar individually as well, and how there's other guys in the background that can't get anywhere near the team. We actually started talking about John Souttar before he went away on international duty, about how he's been quite poor. And a poor performance for Scotland, is that a worry for us?
Definitely. I've always been worried John Souttar's biggest, pardon the pun, but defenders as well. With John Souttar, because I used to like the way he got on the ball, went up the park. We're seeing less and less of that now. He seems to take less responsibility for stuff as times went on. He's got slower. He's less willing to close down. His work rate just seems to be a lot less than what it used to be, in my opinion. As far as I can see, he looks like somebody that knows his contract's coming up to end and isn't getting renewed. He's kind of playing that way as if it's kind of like when we get a new job and you've got 3 weeks. What's it called? 3 weeks notice, and during that 3 weeks, you're just like, I don't want to be here. It's like that kind of feeling for me with John Souttar, and it is for me. It is disappointing because I know there is a player there, and I know what he can do. I mean, sometimes he used to take the ball and got in the park and nobody could touch him, and it was brilliant. But he just seems to kind of lost his way a little bit. Also, I don't think he should be vice captain anymore. To be honest, I don't even think he should have got it in the first place. But he's not. In my opinion, he's not a leader. To be honest, but I think going forward, it's who do we stick with Souttar? Do we stick with Giga? Do we bring in Fernandez? Do we bring in Enciala to replace him? So it's getting to that stage where he used to be indispensable, but now I think we can maybe try something else.
Try something else, Brian. The problem with trying something else is that we've got Nasser Giga, who hasn't exactly pulled up any trees. We've got Fernandez, who hasn't really been given much of a fair shake, and we've got Clinton Enciala, who, by all accounts, has been just completely dropped out of existence. So, do we have to put up with the fact that we're going to have to put up with John Souttar until at least January, or is in your opinion John Souttar good enough?
I genuinely think now we're in the realms of we're going to have to put up with him. at the end of the day, I think we're going to have to stick him out because, as you say, Fernandes has barely kicked the ball. Giga has looked, even worse than Suter, that's saying something. And then you've obviously got Cornelius. Cornelius has been playing, but then he's been getting hurt, sort of huckled out to the left back position because we've only got one left back in the club. So I think when Cornelius plays with him, I think he's not as bad. I'm doing that off memory, but I don't think he looks quite as bad when he's got Cornelius next to him. I think when he's got De Giga next to him, they're as bad as each other, the pair of them. But I don't know what's happened to John Suter. I really don't. I don't know if he's in the realms of he knows he's leaving and he's kind of chucked the towel, and I don't know if that's a fair sort of criticism. But something's happened to him. He's not he's not as good as he used to be. So yeah, I'm afraid I think we're gonna have to suffer until January at least.